Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've missed me a lot. I never really like to do this ahead of schedule, but this is a news break that I just heard that the Lakers are thinking of hiring Phil Jackson to come coach the Lakers. But before I would do that, I would like to make a new announcement that apart from my comparison videos, which I usually do, I prefer to actually do some type of like pre-game shit where I do the keys to the game type of thing, but I'm not sure. So before I jump to the news, let me do the keys to the game for the two teams I actually watch mostly because the Lakers, it's pretty obvious what the keys to the game is. It's the same old thing. So it's not surprising. Just play defense, that's it. The Pelicans, similar thing. I don't even think the Pelicans have a keys to the game because the keys to the game already has been done, which is put Devontae Graham weak ass on the bench and let him come off as a sixth man. That's it. It works. But when we're talking keys to the game in terms of the Bulls, tonight you're facing the Sixers, right? Against Harden. Here's one thing I want to see: ball movement. Move the ball. Make sure that everyone gets fed. I don't want to see that iso ball bullshit. Because from time to time that's okay, but too much of it is a problem. It really bites them in the back. Protect the lead at all cost. Defensively, please, the rim, protect the rim, bro. The Nets, the key man for this game that you should stop, actually key men, is Joel Embiid and James Harden, the two-headed dragons of the Sixers. You have to stop them too. If you can't stop them too, you win the game. That's it. The Charlotte Hornets tomorrow against Kyrie. Whew. LaMelo versus Kyrie. Lord have mercy. That game looking like a hell, bro. And I will say this: Kyrie is gonna be looking to have a bounce back game because his team lost. So they'll be looking to have a bounce back game since Jason Tatum dropped 54 on them. So they'll be looking to have a bounce back game. So expect them to fight for blood, go for go for blood. So in that case, I think the best thing is you have to shut down Kyrie. You can let KD cook some from time to time, but you have to shut down Kyrie. But we've seen games even when they shut down Kyrie, they still lose. Like, should we go back to Melo's rookie year where the Kyrie Irving led Nets beat the they beat freaking Charlotte with the reserve team and Kyrie Irving only starting. Like they had one starter and the rest of the team are reserves. So in that case, I say the best thing you gotta do now that there's Kyrie and KD at the same lineup, the key man I'll say for this game is Kevin Durant. You have to stop KD. And I don't think Mason Plumlee can stop KD or Cody Martin because all KD have to do is post him up, shoot over him. That's it. You can't guard him. And defensively, I don't want to see that box and one bullshit that you run, where Cody Martin will play man to man on the best offensive player, and then the rest of the guys play zone. I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. And the unnecessary timeout bullshit must go. The LaMelo and Trez pick and roll must be there, continuing. So in that case, those are the keys to the game. I just want to say that because a lot of times people will say, I'm just hating on the Charlotte Hornets and I just have a lot of criticism. See, I like to see the bigger picture. I'm not the sheeps to the Charlotte Hornets. I'm not a sheep to them. I'm not a sheep like the average Charlotte Hornets fan that would just defend them for no reason. I'm not a sheep to that situation, so I'm not going to defend mediocrity. Okay? If you're trash, I'm calling that shit out. Okay? So in that case, let's move on to the next category, which is the news of the day. Phil Jackson coaching the Lakers. Lord have mercy. This is about to be another disaster. Phil Jackson is the OG version of Tom Thibodeau. Hear me out. Phil Jackson is an OG version of Tom Thibodeau. But here's where he's better than Thibodeau. He plays young guys. Young guy, he plays young guys. If you show him that you're a star, you get more playing time. That's it. He plays the young boys. That's why Phil always get respected. And he lets the stars cook. Imagine if Phil Jackson was coaching the Charlotte Hornets right now. LaMelo be getting touches. But here's where the positives is this. Phil Jackson lets stars cook. It makes sure the stars get the rock. And he creates plays that makes the stars look good, right? And speaking of plays, here's where the negatives comes in. Phil Jackson's plays, Lord have mercy. Phil Jackson is what I would call the olden day version of James Borrego. And let me tell you why. But unlike Borrego, I'll say it again, he lets the stars cook. The reason why I will say he's similar to Borrego is this. Where similar to Borrego is this. They don't want to change their ways. Phil Jackson, we wonder why Phil Jackson never got a coaching job again? Here's why. Because he can't adapt. You sticking to the same old man-to-man scheme that's not really applying to today's era because 90% of defenses nowadays are zone defense. Nobody is used to man-to-man a lot. Barely any team plays man-to-man. Teams that play man-to-man tends to have length. Barely anybody plays man-to-man. Phil Jackson's offensive scheme is the triangle offense, and defense is mostly man-to-man. If it's not man-to-man, he's probably running a zone defense with 3 defenders in the perimeter or something. But Phil Jackson's system, the reason why Phil Jackson isn't coaching an NBA game is because he doesn't learn how to adjust to today's basketball. If you wonder, he coached the Knicks before he went away from there. He coached the Knicks, and the Knicks were losing because his system isn't predicated to the Knicks system. So the Knicks were like, yeah, you're coaching the team, so we don't need your services, so you're fired. And you know how that turned out. David Fizdale and the rest of them. So in that case, I don't agree with that. You should bring it because here's the good news about. I understand why the Lakers want to get Phil Jackson because Phil Jackson is the coach in Lakers history to win more championships and have more wins on that team. And he has the highest win percentage of all coaches in the Lakers organization. Yes, it's a fact. In the Lakers organization, Phil Jackson is the only coach to have a much more higher win percentage and playoff win percentage. And he has a better record than Frank Vogel or all these guys in terms of playoffs because he's been to the playoffs. He's won, forget the Bulls. Let's talk about Lakers only. 5 championships. Been to 5 championships, 6 to 7 NBA finals, 6 NBA finals, let's say. 5 championships. Lakers alone. And in Lakers history, he's actually won more rings than anything. If you look at in terms of NBA coaches overall, Phil Jackson I think he has the most rings of all NBA coaches, I think, with 11. I'm not sure, but he has the most rings, per se, with 11 rings. Because if you add his Bulls rings to the Lakers rings, you have 11 rings. I don't know about Coach of the Year awards, but that's what I would say. So I would say that if I'm the Lakers, I want to be careful. I don't agree with Phil Jackson coaching the Lakers, but I think that for the sake of Westbrook and the rest of them, I'm not sure if Westbrook and Westbrook fans are going to allow it because, yeah, It's not gonna be different than Vogel coaching because Russ gonna have to learn how to shoot a damn 3 pointer consistently. Because especially for a man who wants to play third wheel, you're gonna have to learn how to shoot a damn three ball if you really want to be on the Phil Jackson system. Because I don't think Phil Jackson's system fits Russell Westbrook, and that's another problem that if Phil Jackson was the coach, he's gonna have to learn because Phil Jackson's problem, like I said, is that he struggles to adapt to the new system. And my biggest criticism of Borrego is that he never applies what he has learned to the new shit. So whenever he's playing another game, he will do the same old bullshit that he did the previous game. Even not same old bullshit. He would fuck up even despite learning something new. Like, okay, the LaMelo and Trez pick and roll works. Let's go with that. No, you know what? I will put Trez and Terry in the court, and then we'll get smacked. I will put LaMelo and Trez less minutes together, and then we get smacked. And then you wonder why LaMelo fans are complaining. Maybe if the damn coach actually learns to put the right players on the court when these matters, maybe no one will be complaining. Maybe if they win a damn championship, maybe and no one will be complaining. But this coach has shown he's not winning. And in the difference with Phil Jackson is that Phil Jackson actually lets the stars cook. He's not gonna stifle one star for no reason. But the reason why I call him Tom Thibodeau and the olden days of Borrego is this that he just doesn't know how to change his ways, and that's the reason why no one is try to approach him. But the reason why the Lakers are approaching him is because in the Lakers franchise is the coach with the most rings. Actually, most rings. Yeah, I don't know who has the most, but it's the coach with the most rings and most playoff win percentage. He has the highest playoff win percentage of all. He has the highest win percentage and highest playoff win percentage of any Lakers coach. That's a fact. So the thing is this that you're gonna have to decide where you're gonna do with Russell Westbrook. Because the triangle offense would have to mean LeBron, AD, Russ, right? Everybody else comes after. But that's a really big question because you have a triangle centrist coach that you want to hire, but I don't understand why you're going to hire a new coach when Vogel won your ring. So that means if Vogel can win the Lakers a championship, Vogel is not the problem. You have to trade Russ or LeBron. One of the two must go. So I don't think Phil Jackson is going to solve the Lakers. The problem is actually Russ, trading for Russ in the first place and letting go of Caruso. Because the real reason why the Lakers are downhill is kicking Caruso off the hill and saying walk. And then trading for Russ and thinking that's going to solve the problem. Like, imagine if Caruso was still there. Imagine if Caruso was still there. They'll still be able to have defense. But no, let's try THT. Look where that got you now. You chose THT over Caruso. You done fucked up. You done lost your mind. Now the Bulls are in a playoff hunt. Chicago should have thanked the Lakers for letting Caruso come to them. At least Caruso's in a place where he's loved and treated with love more than the Lakers ever did because the organization don't value him as much as their fans do. So I'll say this. The real question is Phil Jackson gonna solve the Lakers? Is firing Vogel and getting Phil Jackson the best shit to save the Lakers? Or is it that you have to find a way to get rid of Russ to a team where he's actually going to be the star and actually get a solid defender? Something is going to have to do at the end of the season. And in terms of the keys to the game, that is what it is. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.